Hello and welcome to this Lent meditation number 6. Let's begin with our centering prayer as we remember that we meet in the presence of God. Be still and know that I am God. Lord, may your Spirit guide us to seek your loving presence more and more, for it is there that I find rest and refreshment from this busy world. God speaks to us individually. We need to listen to hear what he is saying. So we're going to read the text a few times and listen. Our reading is from John chapter 19, verse 30. When Jesus had received the wine, he said, "It is finished." Then he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. It is finished. Jesus underwent many kinds of suffering on Good Friday. We tend to focus on his physical sufferings, and it's true, he would have suffered a great deal physically. Crucifixion was one of the most painful deaths imaginable, perfected by the Romans for that purpose. The Gospel writers provide sparse, if any, descriptive details of the crucifixion. It was widespread enough and horrific enough for people to know what it meant, to know what it looked and sounded like. This awful process caused a lot of pain, bleeding, and ultimately asphyxiation, and the ensuing panic the victim would have felt. And of course, crucifixions took place where people could see them, as a reminder of what happened when you break the rules. Naked for all to see and mock, or to hurriedly turn away from in fear. It all added to the shame that was part of the torture. Convicted of their crime, abandoned by their family and friends, victims would have felt emotional and spiritual pain too. But for Jesus, there was possibly a final suffering. Would his work continue after his death? Was this the plan, or a huge miscalculation? Was this the legacy on which the kingdom would be built? Would this mission survive? We can't enter into the mind of Jesus on the cross to understand or even speculate what was going through his mind. Yet these last words reveal some things to us, but not the whole picture. John's Gospel tells us that Jesus said, "It is finished," which most commentators take to mean that Jesus' mission is completed. He's done the task the Father asked of him. Father Stanley Morrow says that in his death on the cross, Jesus reveals the Father because Jesus shows us the depth of the Father's love for us. By his death, Jesus shows total obedience to the one who sent him. But as he hung on the cross, he would beware that most of his disciples had fled. He would remember the times when they hadn't understood or actually got it wrong. Did he wonder whether they were the right ones, had the character or the courage? Peter, who had betrayed him 3 times, was he the right one to lead the others? Was this plan A? We all have those times when our hopes and plans didn't succeed, but instead went down the pan. Not for the lack of effort or love, but circumstances dictated things failed. Perhaps some of us are living those days now. Businesses unable to survive, relationships failing, unable to support or be with our loved ones, those we care for dying, and those caring for the dying in the selfless way that they do their work, dying too. Perhaps right now for us, it may feel like it is finished, not a triumphant cry, but one of sadness. Perhaps in this one verse, Jesus again is entering into our territory, understanding where we are at, abandoned, bereft, and in pain. Yet, after all of this, we have Easter Sunday. Good Friday makes no sense without Easter Sunday, and vice versa. The Father had other plans. Jesus might not have understood how his work would continue, or whether indeed the disciples he had chosen, lived with, and taught for those 3 years would take up the mission. But the Father did. God can use everything in our lives, even our failures and dashed hopes. Just as Jesus multiplied the loaves and fishes, so God can multiply the meagre offerings in our lives and multiply them. We may feel our dreams are ending, but God has other dreams for us. We may feel that hope is dead, but God is the source of all hope. Some years ago, I felt God offer me something, but I was too slow and lacked the courage to go ahead. It didn't take me long to realise my error, and I was devastated. But as I prayed and asked for forgiveness, God showed me a picture of a Ferris wheel, and that slowly the gondola would come round again and I could get on. God was offering me a second chance. Mercifully, this is what happened, and I got to board the ride, and a new journey for my life began. As Julian of Norwich said in the 14th century, all shall be well, all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. Or, as the contemporary saying goes, all will be well in the end. And if all is not well, then it is not the end. Amen. We thank God for these moments spent together and for any insights we have been given. Let us pray the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, for ever and ever. Amen. As we go about the rest of our day, may the Lord be with us. The Lord bless us. The Lord show us his kindness and his goodness, and fill us with love. Amen.